What is going on, YouTube? I am Jerem here. Today, January 25th, is the start date of the 2020 competitive League of Legends season in North America, the start date of the LCS, and there's tons to be excited about. Really hyped players, really hyped teams, really hyped matchups. The trash talk is back, the exciting games, the exciting plays, all of that great stuff is back, and people are really excited about this. Tons of people are talking about it right now. Obviously, it's one of the biggest things in League of Legends, the LCS, and the competitive season getting started. People are talking about their tier list, what teams they think are going to be good, what players are going to be good, all that stuff. So today I want to get my opinions out there, and I want to talk about why I think CLOUD9 is one of the most overrated teams in the entire LCS going into this 2020 season. So a bunch of analysts, people in the media, people on Reddit, all this stuff have been making their tier lists about what team they think is going to be the best, where they think teams are going to finish all throughout the season, who's going to make it to the finals, who's going to win MVP, all of that. And a lot of that stuff makes sense. A lot of it's just the public opinion. You know, there's like this hive mind where once somebody says something or once an opinion becomes popularized, that just, oh, everyone randomly has that thought now and weird stuff like that. And the thing that I found the most interesting is that people have CLOUD9 rated as the second best North American team coming into the 2020 season, and to me that just doesn't make sense. And when I look at their roster on paper, I don't see it, and I don't really see why people think this way. So I think starting out this conversation, Team Liquid has to be everyone's number one. I'm not really a big Team Liquid fan at all. I'm kind of a Team Liquid hater. I want to see them lose. I know a lot of other people do as well. But on paper, they have the best shot coming into the 2020 season. Some other teams, if a lot of things go right, have a chance to dethrone them for sure. This is going to be, I think, one of Team Liquid's hardest tests, especially getting a new jungler and being on top for so long. You're just going to lose motivation because what's winning NA a fifth time to them? You know, Worlds is really the only thing that matters. So I think it's going to be a very challenging season. I think there's a lot of tough competitors in NA, but I think they for sure have the most likely shot to win it all. But then after that, I think that's where things really start to shake up and people really have some differing opinions. The most popular opinion I've seen again is CLOUD9 at number 2, which I think is so strange. Obviously, CLOUD9 finished second in the spring split regular season and in the summer split regular season for 2019. But did they get better? Did they even stay the same coming into 2020? I really don't think so. If you look at their team from top to bottom, obviously in the top lane, Licorice, one of my favorite players. Again, I'm not a huge fan of CLOUD9, but you can't doubt Licorice's talent. You can't really dislike the guy. As a North American carry player, those are few and far between. They're hard to come by. You have to respect his talent, and you have to respect just how valuable and important he is to CLOUD9 and really the LCS scene as a whole. He's an amazing player. He can rival the import Korean top laners who are huge carries. He's super consistent. He's just a great player. In the jungle, I think CLOUD9 has a big downgrade. I actually like Blabber a lot. I'm really hyped about him playing. I think he has a chance to be a future one of the best junglers in North America, but that doesn't mean he's going to dominate right away. Svenskeren just won MVP last year. They're subbing in Blabber. You're going from the MVP jungler, one of the best junglers in North America, to a promising young rookie, but a guy who is known to make some crazy plays, have some ridiculous deaths, and while he can make the amazing plays, he's going to throw some games for you. He's going to win some games for you, but he's going to throw some games for you too. And in a regular season as short and with as few games as LCS, throwing a couple games automatically is going to knock you down a few spots. The teams at the top are just going to be separated by a few games, and I think there's going to be some growing pains with Blabber for sure. I think with time and with development, he has a chance to be an amazing player. He definitely has that raw talent, that natural carry ability, that craziness, that unpredictability that works really well when you can harness it correctly in the pro scene. But I think he's going to struggle at times for sure, and I think he's a massive, massive downgrade from Svenskeren, and I think there's really no way you can argue otherwise. In the mid lane, Niski was one of the best mid laners in NA last year during the regular seasons, during the playoffs, everything. But he really got exposed at Worlds. He had a really, really terrible showing at Worlds, and that's the most recent performance we've seen from Niski. So while last year he was great and he's a young player and you think he would develop into this year, there's some impressive mid lane talent in North America this year. It's not going to be easy, and it's not impossible for him to not be a top 3 mid laner this year. You have Bjergsen, Jensen, Crown, Power of Evil, a ton of really, really great mid laners, and Niski has shown he has the potential to not show up sometimes. I think he's going to be solid. I think he's going to be really good. He might even be a top 3 mid laner, but I think it's at least fair to have some questions about Niski. He will be a top half mid laner for sure, but will he be top 3? Will he be top 2? I don't know. And if you don't have a top 3 or top 2 mid laner, maybe your team's not going to finish second in North America. Next up, looking at AD carry, Sven coming over from TSM. I think there's a chance that he goes back to his old ways, like his EU really, really carry days. But there's a chance that he just continues on this downward ascent. people were saying how bad Sneaky played at times last year, or how inconsistent he was, or how bad his deaths were and stuff. Sven had consistent times at TSM, but they were very middling consistent times, and he did have big throws as well. Obviously in the finals, I was there live. It was so sad. He has been off his game for quite some time, and now he's on to his second team. Maybe he's remotivated. Maybe it's been a wake-up call. Maybe he's more comfortable in NA and North America now. But maybe not. Maybe he's just past his prime and on his way down and losing motivation. And he definitely has a bad mental state for the game. He gets tilted very easily, gets upset very easily. He's very hard on himself. I think he's usually in a very unhealthy place. And if the team starts to lose games, Sven could be one of the first people to go. I don't know. I definitely have a lot of question marks about him. Sneaky was one of the best North American AD carries of all time. Tons of clutch performances, tons of world performances, tons of great playoff gauntlet performances. He showed up in big games. Yes, he did start to falter last year at times, and he was a huge question mark on CLOUD9, and I think they're fair for wanting to replace him. But I don't think replacing him with Sven is automatically a huge upgrade. I think it could be a side grade. It could be an upgrade for sure, but it has the potential to be a side grade or a downgrade, undoubtedly. And that's another place where they could be getting another downgrade, where I think they have a really big downgrade in jungle. I think they could have a downgrade in AD carry. It could be a slight upgrade, but even if you see Sven as an upgrade over Sneaky, Sven as an upgrade over Sneaky isn't as big of a downgrade as Blabber is to Sven Scarin, so I don't think it's enough to make up for that. So I still think, when looking through the first 4 players, CLOUD9 necessarily got better with those moves. Finally, getting into support, I think this has got to be one of the biggest reasons that people are so hyped up about CLOUD9 is them buying out Vulcan from Clutch, Dignitas, whatever you want to call him. People are really excited about him. He's a young North American player who has shown some really crazy mechanical abilities from support. But he's another player that I'm just not sold on. He had, you know, the last year is really the first year people really started getting excited about him in LCS. He had some crazy plays. You know, him and Dignitas and Clutch, they ended up making it to Worlds. They knocked out some really great teams along the way. They beat CLG and TSM, who were both really hyped up at the time, and have a lot of really great players on them. And during those runs, he made some great plays. But he had some terrible games and terrible plays as well. I am not as sold on Vulcan as some other people are. He had this crazy buyout. A lot of teams were interested in him. A lot of teams wanted him. He is a very he's a very good young player with a ton of potential, just like Blabber is. But I don't think he's anything proven yet. I don't think one really great split, or maybe 2 if you think he had a really great 2019 year as a whole. Again, not a very great showing at Worlds. I think he has the potential to not be that much of an upgrade over Zeyzal. I think people are really kind of downplaying what Zeyzal did for CLOUD9. If you ever listen to their comms, he was so vocal. He was a really great playmaker for them at times. He did have some inting games. He did have some bad games where he didn't show up and stuff. He didn't have the greatest Worlds performances either. But I don't necessarily think Vulcan is a massive upgrade. And again, even if you do see Vulcan as an upgrade over Zeyzal, which I'm not really sold on that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But at this time, I'm not like, oh yeah, Vulcan's a massive upgrade for sure. I still don't think that's a big enough gap to make up for the difference between Blabber and Sven Scarin. Like, in this scenario, you see potentially 2 minor upgrades in the bot lane, then you would need to see Blabber like win MVP or be in MVP contention as CLOUD9 jungler this year, and I just really don't see any world that happens. I see Blabber could be an above average jungler. He could be a very good jungler in NA this split, but I don't think he's just going to walk into LCS and start dominating right off the bat. And for that reason, that's why I think CLOUD9 is one of the most overrated teams in LCS. I know I had a lot of like negative opinions, but that's just really how I feel. So that's why I can't believe that people are so high on CLOUD9 when TSM got massive upgrades from last year. CLG is a very strong team coming into 2020. I honestly think CLOUD9 is closer to like Evil Geniuses and 100 Thieves than they are to TSM and CLG. Like, my predictions are the top 3 are going to be CLG, TSM, and Team Liquid, and there'll be a little bit of a gap between 4, 5, and 6, the bottom half of the playoff teams. But that's just not how a lot of other people see it. Maybe I'm completely wrong. We're going to be finding out very soon. Obviously, the LCS is starting up, and we'll start to answer these questions. But I just want to get this video out before the LCS started so I could get my opinions out there, let you know what I think, and then if I'm right, hey, this video will be out there. If I'm wrong, you guys can laugh in my face, whatever. But that's my thoughts for today. CLOUD9, one of the most overrated teams going into 2020. I do not think that they will be finishing second or even top 3 in the LCS spring split for 2020. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Drop a like if you enjoyed it. I know there's a lot of CLOUD9 fans. This is a risky, controversial video to make, but this is really my true opinions. Subscribe so you update on all of my latest content. I'm really excited for the start of LCS. I hope you guys are too. I'm planning on making a decent amount of content for the LCS. I want to keep pumping out League videos, obviously, because I'm really hyped for Ranked Season 10 as well. But I'm just trying out a bunch of different things. I want to see what you guys like. I want to see what does well. We're still pretty new to this. We're still seeing what works, what doesn't. So I'm just trying to get all different kinds of videos out to you guys. So if that sounds great to you, again, definitely subscribe. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about the LCS? What are your predictions for this year? You got any bold predictions? Because I got mine out there for you guys. Hopefully I see you guys all in the next video. Until then, peace.